station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. Oh, yeah. What's up, PTL Nation? Everybody listening on the YouTube page, of course, at PTL Radio Show. We want to try to get to 150,000 subscribers by next week. I think you could help us get there. Of course, also on the Really American Network. And, of course, TikTok, Twitch, you name it. We're all over the place, X, and we appreciate you being a part of the show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, this is a guy who is an economics professor at the University of Michigan. You see him all over television, CNN, MSNBC, Fox Business, everywhere. He is the person to talk to, especially about this horrendous jobs report that just came out. Justin Wolfers is going to be joining us here in just a few, so you're going to want to stick around for that. Obviously, the big news that has come out today is this absolutely dismal jobs report caused by this incompetent administration. And all they keep doing is moving the goalposts while people out there are struggling. Unemployment rate has gone up, and inflation going up, and job growth, ladies and gentlemen, going down. That's right. I want you to listen to how Fox Business was forced to handle this today when only 22,000 jobs were added in August, much less than an expected 75,000, and one of the worst job reports that we've seen since 2009. Have a listen to this.
I sure did. 22,000 jobs added in the month of August. That was much less than the expectation of 75,000, guys. The July number was revised. I will get to revisions in a moment. Unemployment rate coming in as expected, 4.3%. So that would be higher than July's 4.2%. Again, 22,000 jobs added in August. Let me get you the revisions because this is what everybody is focused on. For June and July together, combined 21,000 jobs lower than previously reported. I'll categorize that now. So you see for June, it was revised down by 27,000, getting you to negative 13,000, and the change for July up by 6,000, getting you to 79,000.
So let me be very clear on this. We, as consumers, are paying more. I think everybody knows that by now. We're paying more for housing. We're paying more for electricity and everything else. And the jobs and growth numbers are horrendous. They're terrible. And the health agencies couldn't be in a worse situation than them right now. They're in shambles. And MAGA, or at least many in the MAGA cult, don't seem to care. While Donald Trump is making billions of dollars in this crypto scandal as president of the United States. Make no mistake about it. I talk about this all the time, and I'll say it again. Donald Trump inherited a very good economy when Joe Biden left office. And Scott Bessent and Kevin Hassett and Howard Lutnick are running it into the ground as we speak. But here's an interesting moment where Lori Chavez DeRemer in the Trump administration making excuses for Donald Trump. Even those on Fox Business are talking about this horrible and disappointing and weakening job report that came out. Listen to the way these idiots in the Trump administration are spinning this.
You admit to being just a little disappointed by this weakening job market.
Well, 22,000 jobs underperformed just a bit, but it's still in the positive. Almost 500,000 jobs have been created since the president took office. It's going to take some time. But again, when everybody's working for the American people and the American worker and somebody chooses not to, and they're instrumental in those decisions that affect the market, that affect the wage growth, that affect all of those things, do your job. And I know that the president's not going to let up on this, and neither am I.
Yeah, really nice excuse there. Everything's going to be fine. Give it 2 weeks. Give it a year. It's funny, when Donald Trump took office, he said, I'm going to lower the price of inflation and the job numbers are going to be great as soon as I take office. Just like he said the war would be over in 24 hours. So DeRemer is a complete idiot. and she's making excuses. Somebody else is Kevin Hassett with that stupid smirk on his face. Well, he was on Fox earlier today, and he was asked about these horrible job numbers. Listen to him spin this.
Go ahead and get your hot take. It's not the number you wanted. It was not the number that was expected. How come?
Right. Well, one of the things we know is that they've been really at BLS struggling with bad response rates. And Goldman Sachs put out a study yesterday that said that they've been messing up the August seasonal so much that over the last 10 to 15 years, they've tended to have to revise up the number by around almost 70,000 jobs when they get the new final surveys.
So it's their fault?
And so, well, I'm saying that this number, we expect this number will be revised up. That's been the pattern over and over. And if that happens, then it'll be consistent with all the other indicators we're seeing. Industrial production is at an all-time high. Capital spending is up 8% over the first half of the year after it being mostly flat under Joe Biden. And also within the jobs report we got today, there are a lot of really interesting and positive patterns. Thing one is that all the job creation is private sector job creation. Government workers are actually, their employment declined by 100,000. All of the job creation is native-born workers, whereas about half of the job creation under Biden was foreign-born workers. And so there are a lot of real positive things to see. And the final thing is that the wage numbers are fantastic. The wage growth is almost at 4%, which means that the typical wage earner in America right now has gotten a $500 raise already because of Donald Trump's policies.
Okay, so the revisions for June and July collectively were lower.
We're lower,
and you're
right.
saying the revisions for next month will come back. We'll see whether or not that's the case.
Yeah, and there's another big revision next week. But the point is that these numbers, the reason why they're getting revised so much is that these numbers are based on surveys, and people are kind of not filling out the surveys until the last minute, and so that the share of surveys that have actually been filled out at the beginning of the month is way lower than it used to be.
Let me explain to you why he's lying, why Lori Chavez DeRemer is lying, and we'll get to Lutnick in a moment. The new job numbers are weighed against population growth. Example, the population growth exceeded 22,000 during that period. So we added more people than jobs. These people in the Donald Trump administration are lying to you, including Mr. Lutnick, who says, don't worry, everything will be okay between 6 months to a year. That's what he says. Have a listen to what he has to say about these job numbers. Don't worry, it'll be fine a year from now.
This is of numbers, though, that come out of a group like BLS. What the American public, what the world public, the CEOs in America, the Fed, anybody who's making decisions on these numbers, actually, they don't want someone who's there to win. They just want somebody who's there going to give them the most accurate, timely numbers that possibly exist. Just accuracy is probably the only thing that they want. So what I'm asking is today, when we see those numbers, whether we should believe they're accurate.
I think they'll get better because you'll take out the people who are just trying to create noise against the president. Take out the people trying to create noise. Let's get the accurate numbers, because this is going to be the greatest growth economy, right? 6 months from now, a year from today, as these trillions of dollars of plants and factories, you've seen all these pictures. There are just so many factories going in. The employment situation in America is going to be so impressive. Look, we've got 3% GDP growth. Nothing wrong with the growth we're going to have the rest of this year. But the Donald Trump economy, the explosive power of his tariff policy, his plants being built in America, to come home and build advanced manufacturing in America, when that comes starting 6 months from today to a year from today, you're just going to be impressed. I'm going to come on your show, and I'm going to make you say, Donald Trump was right, and we are all impressed.
Yeah, there you go. Blame everybody else but yourself, you frickin' fool, you. Give it 6 months to a year, and then I guarantee you when the numbers don't get better, in fact, they'll probably get worse in 6 months to a year, they'll still blame somebody else. It's funny because we were just watching Justin Wolfers on MSNBC, who was just talking about this, and he's going to be joining us actually in a few minutes. This is nonsense. These are lies from the Donald Trump administration. No different than when Donald Trump said the war would end in 24 hours, and then he said, give me 2 weeks. How did that work out? It's the same thing with Lutnick when he says, give it 6 months to a year. They're lying. And I say maybe the problem wasn't with the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that wasn't the problem. Maybe the problem is Donald Trump's policies. Maybe the problem is these tariffs, the fact that the American consumers are the ones that have to pay the brunt of this. But they'll blame everybody else. They'll blame Joe Biden. They'll blame Barack Obama. They'll blame Pete Buttigieg. They'll blame George Soros. When they have absolutely nothing to do with what is going on right now with the economy. Let me repeat once again. Donald Trump, Bessent, Kevin Hassett, and Howard Lutnick, they inherited a great economy. And they are literally running it into the ground because of Donald Trump's policies. These tariffs being a main reason for it. The problem isn't with the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Who are they going to fire now? And that guy Hassett, who is just such a smug puke. And Lutnick, who says, well, just give it 6 months to a year. Yeah, why don't you tell that to the people right now that lost their jobs, who are also going to lose their medical coverage, and they're going to lose their food stamps. Why don't you tell that to them? Don't worry about it. Just give it 6 months to a year. Trust me. When Donald Trump was the idiot who campaigned on the fact that everything's going to be cheaper the second I'm in office, the war is going to be over in 24 hours, everything's going to be just fine. That was a lie. Just like everything else that adjudicated rapist says. It's a lie. It was never about making America safe again. It was about owning libs and going after black mayors in certain districts, certain cities. It was never about making America great again. It was about making America white again. This wasn't about making America safe again. It was attacking minorities, going after the homeless, going after minorities, deporting people that have been in this country for decades that are mostly non-violent criminals. Their only crime that they committed was coming into this country illegally. They've made a life for themselves and their families. Could we have some compassion for people? Is that possible? Even Fox Business and even Fox News are reporting on the numbers. This is not good. What do these members of the Trump administration say? Give it 6 months to a year. Everything's going to be just fine. As we go to the YouTube super chat where your questions and comments can be heard. Alexa Gibson says, we don't have 6 months for you to see the benefits. We are suffering right now, and we are going down and more and more and more. I agree with you, Alexa. Donald Trump ran on day one. He signed a lot of executive orders on day one. Excuse me. That didn't seem to help the American people very much, did it? You might have gotten that trans volleyball player off the team, but that didn't help put food on the table, did it? Didn't help when you lost your job, did it? These are the worst job numbers we have seen since 2009. Some of the worst job growth numbers we saw last time Donald Trump was in office, by the way. And yet we're supposed to sit here and listen to these idiots like Lutnick. Everything's going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just fine in 6 months to a year. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we doing here? This administration is blowing up our economy. They keep making excuses as every report comes out. You're not going to be able to fire everybody. The head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's not his fault. He wants to blame Powell for everything. This is the fault of one person, Donald Trump, and everybody else underneath him that wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7 that do and say everything he tells them to do. That's what this is about. Make no mistake about it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we always love having Justin Wolfers on the show. He was just on MSNBC a few moments ago. We're going to ask him. He is an economics professor, an author, and he is great. So he is going to be joining us next. We're going to take a quick 90-second break, and Justin Wolfers will be joining us on the line, economist expert extraordinaire. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own
All right, welcome back. Pushing the limits on a Friday. We're talking about these dismal job numbers. The report that just came out, the worst since 2009, and the Donald Trump administration putting no fault on their own, blaming the Joe Biden administration, saying give it 6 months to a year. So to give us the actual real facts, the guy joining us on the show right now, I literally just saw him a few moments ago on MSNBC. Very disappointed. He took his sport jacket off. Of course, I'm just kidding. He's an economics professor at the University of Michigan, and we love it when he joins us. So smart when it comes to this stuff. Justin Wolfers right now on the show. Justin, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Brian, you are the only person in the world who caught me out. So I am going to bring your audience in on the joke. I was on TV and I thought I should try and look fancy. So I put a coat on and then I logged into your show and I thought, oh, Brian's a guy, looks a little scruffy, frankly. And I mean that in a loving way. It's a nice scruffy. It's a used scruffy. And I thought, what would be better for Brian's audience than a blue collar? So,
I agree.
You know, here I am.
Right. You're a clean-shaven guy. I don't take care of myself. That's why I'm single, but that's another story for another show, Justin. But no, in all seriousness, I really do appreciate you being here. So put this in perspective, this job report that came out and the direct correlation that you believe it has to these tariffs and Donald Trump's policies, if you can.
Are you leading the witness there, brother? Let me start with what we learned. So, trying to take the pulse of the economy is a difficult thing. It's an inexact science. We see lots of noisy signals out the window. It's a bit like the weather. The most important indicator we get is every month we get a report on the number of jobs created, sometimes called non-farm payrolls or the jobs report. We really like this because it's incredibly timely. It's the first information we have about August. And because it's based on surveys with literally tens of thousands of firms. So it's a very reliable indicator. And what we learned today was the economy only created 22,000 jobs last month. Now, remember, it's an inexact science, so it could be a bit more, it could be a bit less. But what you learn from that we can't debate is, one, that rate is very low, worryingly low. It's below what we're used to, quite substantially. It's not at a recession level, but you can kind of sniff a recession, possibly. It smells like there might be one around the corner. So that's where we're at. The unemployment rate's been slowly rising. And what's striking, and this is where you were leading the witness, Brian, is if you look at the numbers over a period of months or years, you see a very sharp slowdown over recent months. And in fact, kind of looks like April was when it all began. And April is when Trump moved from faffing about with DOJ to doing more substantial systematic damage by imposing tariffs. The tariffs have been on again, off again. It's not just tariffs, they've caused extremely high levels of uncertainty. And I think more broadly, a sense that there's a deeper sense that there are not adults at the wheel. Do you want to invest and build a new factory if you think that there are charlatans, fools, and cranks, or more to the point, ideologues running the show? Right. Economies go up and down, and you need adults to want to fight that rather than serve their own political interests. And I think people are a little worried we're not seeing that. I'm just going to add one more thing for you. I saw a poll that's been asked every month for years now, asking people whether they think government economic policy is being run well. And it's at an all-time low, literally all-time low, by a lot. So the economy is doing moderately okay/weak. In terms of bringing the public along for this economic program, Trump has failed.
I wanted to ask you, Justin, what do you make of, for lack of a better term, some of the excuses that certain members of the Trump administration were making today? Lutnick said, you just wait 6 months to a year from now, and you'll see the change. There are members of Trump's administration that are still blaming the Biden administration, saying this report, we're a little disappointed, but we shouldn't be worried. What do you make of all these members of Trump's administration that have been making these statements over the course of the last 4 to 5 hours?
Nothing. What do I make of the childish exclamations of those with no commitment to truth, those who always blame others but always take credit for themselves? Frankly, those who've lost the right to be taken seriously when they speak. So your question's a very common one in the media. I've been asked it 3 times today. How do you respond to the White House saying blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I don't. What they say every day is nonsense. They've lost the right for me to take that question seriously. If they were great, it would have been the Trump economy. And if they're terrible, he'll fire the commissioner of the BLS because he doesn't like bad numbers. This is not analysis. This is babbling, and I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one 150%. Now, you've said on this show a few months ago that you believed that we were most likely headed towards a recession. Does this evidence of this lack of job growth, for lack of a better term, give us more evidence that most likely a recession is near?
I think what I said, I want to be a little careful about what I think I said. So let me go back. Economic forecasting is hard. It's hard for the same reason weather forecasting is, but it's hard for one more reason, which is with the weather, it's determined by the laws of physics. There's no policymaker who sometimes wakes up in a bad mood and decides that maybe he'll create a rainstorm over Chicago. And so the problem with economic forecasting is not only do you have to forecast something difficult, the White House could knock you off course. And that's such a big factor that the claim I believe I made is that, and I made this at the beginning, around about April. I said, if Trump continues down this full Trumpist path, and this was just around Liberation Day, I said, I think the chances of a recession are about 75%. If he pulls back and acts like an adult, like a standard Republican administration, so you don't have to do what I want, but if you make Mitt Romney the Secretary of the Treasury and you follow his advice, we're down to 25%.
Wow.
25% was already high because of the damage Trump had already done. And I think, roughly speaking, where we are on that spectrum determines what your forecast is. So he backed off the tariffs, but then he put them back in. He went after the Fed, but then he backed off, but then he had another round. So when he's in the middle of that, I'd say it's a 50-50 chance of a recession. Some days it looks like he's pulling the trigger for the full Trump, and I think that won't end well. But other days he tacos. Taco is the term of art.
Right.
And, you know, if he doesn't do the dumb stuff, we're not going to have the bad outcomes.
I'm just wondering, and this might be an off-topic question, but do you think that there are a lot of people in this country that are worried about our economy when you see people like President Xi, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin having meetings, which they did not have when Joe Biden was president? We don't know exactly what they were talking about. Donald Trump feels like they were conspiring against the U.S. Does that worry a lot of people in this country from an economic perspective at all?
There are so many questions there, Brian. So first of all, let's just stand back and celebrate that there were three men willing to cuddle on international TV. It's a new model of masculinity, and perhaps that's what the moment needs. And if that's your perspective, and I think I'm half joking, the real question is, why wasn't our bloke there cuddling? And what would a Trump cuddle even look like? I mean, maybe Putin might be the only one to have been cuddled so far, and all that occurred in private. So let me go back and answer your question. What's happening is we've proved to be an unreliable friend to the rest of the world. You know, my daughter came home from middle school a couple of years ago, and someone in her friend group was proving to be an unreliable friend. So they got up and sat at another table. They wanted friends. And trade is a lot like friendship. It's ways in which, what are the ways in which I can make you better and you make me better at the same time? And so folks who are finding the US hard to work with are looking for substitutes. And so she is looking closer to Modi and to Putin. And so this idea that we're going to flex our muscle actually has turned out to, I think, you know, undermine our geopolitical positioning. If you want to be a giant on the world stage, you got to stand on the world stage.
Yeah.
If you don't want to,
agree.
Isolate yourself and make yourself an island. That's what we've chosen. We shouldn't be surprised the rest of the world's doing business without us.
Tell me if you agree with this statement, because I led off with this, Justin. It appears as though, you know, we are paying more for consumer goods, housing, electricity, and everything else. And these job growth numbers are absolutely atrocious. The health agencies are in shambles right now. And yet, Donald Trump is making billions of dollars off to this on this crypto scandal thing. What is there to be happy about right now when it comes to the economy?
Oh, I've got some good news. Right after I hang up with you, my family's going to go and get a kitten.
Oh, that's good.
Chirp. Chirp is grey and cute and beautiful. And it may not be the question that you're asking about. Look, I want to give us all some perspective. You and I are having an important conversation. The important conversation of what are the ways in which our economy is falling short of what's possible. And that shortfall doesn't have to be that way. We can be a little more thoughtful. We can have better policies. We can elect smarter politicians. They can put better people in and all of this. That's the shortfall. And our job is to scream and yell and be unhappy about that shortfall, because with an economy this big, even a fraction of a percentage point of a shortfall is enough to pull many, many families out of poverty.
Justin,
we are in the richest country in the world.
Yes.
In the richest year in world history. So we're not living up to what we can be, but I still want to go ahead and show a little gratitude and recognize all of our privilege that we live in extraordinary times.
That's true. Last question for you. Not to give people therapy. That's not your job. But what do you say to the people out there? They're going to be losing their medical benefits if they haven't already. They're going to lose their Medicaid. Many people are going to lose their food stamps. Many people, as you know, are losing their jobs, and they're on unemployment longer. They're struggling to get new jobs. What do you say to these people right now? And you know, I ask you this because anybody in the Trump administration is, for the most part, going to lie and give you fairy tales. This is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
What do you say to these people? What is the truth to these people that say, Justin, I'm struggling. I just lost this, my job. We lost our food stamps, our medical cover. What do you say to them?
I say, I'm sorry. I say, I feel your pain and I see your pain. I say, it doesn't have to be this way. I say, it's our responsibility as your friends, your neighbors, your community, your fellow citizens to lift you up and help dust you off and get you back out there. I say, tell your story, because it's the only way that we can break through. You deserve better. It's why I became an economist. It's why you're talking politics every day, Brian. It's why your audience tunes in. We care.
Yep.
There are people all around you, people you've never met, who love you, who want you to thrive, to have a job that brings you joy or meaning or puts food on the table and lets you buy a kitten to share with your kids. And so to those of you who are not struggling right now, these are the stakes. This is why we do it. This is why it matters. And I appreciate you connecting. You know, we start off by talking about jobs growth and you bring it back to how are people feeling. And there's no truer economics than that, mate.
Yeah. I second that one, my friend. And I appreciate your time as always. Justin, there's a reason why you're on all these national networks. It's because you're so good at what you do. And I apologize. Next time I will be clean shaven for you, okay?
Don't do that on my behalf. Next time I'm going to put on a full suit and a tie and everything.
You definitely don't have to do that for my show. But I think the only time I ever put on a suit was when I interviewed Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and that was a mistake. By the way, there's some listeners that want to know, what will be the cat's name?
Well, the shelter calls the cat Chirp, but I've got two children who think that they get a role in this. Chirp is a young lass, all grey. Maybe I'll report back on whether Chirp gets a new name in my family.
Okay, just don't call the cat MAGA or Lutnick, and we'll be okay. All right, Justin, I love having you on, my friend. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back to work, and thank you so much.
A great joy. Thanks, mate.
All right, there you go, Justin Wolfers, everybody. You've seen him everywhere. CNN every day, MSNBC almost every day. He's on all the national networks. There's a reason for that. He's a really smart guy, and he's really good at what he does. Economics professor at the University of Michigan, and we always love having him on. So now it's your chance to chime in. And I want to hear your personal stories. You know, this job growth report just came out that obviously the numbers are abysmal. They're terrible. I want to know personal stories. Are you feeling it? And while all this stuff is going on, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., after that horrible appearance in front of the Senate, is now claiming that Tylenol may be linked to autism. Now, it's just one thing after another. This is the same guy who made claims that the vaccines were linked to children with autism, and we know that to be not true as well. So listen, the damage that this administration is doing to this country, not just with misinformation, but with Donald Trump's tariffs, the economy, it speaks for itself. The number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-7283. Here's what I want to do. I think I want to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to hear your personal stories. I want to hear, what do you think about these new job numbers? This report that just came out, 22,000 the worst jobs report we have seen since 2009. And what do you make of the Trump administration making nothing but excuses? Because let's be honest, that's what they're doing. We will also be in the YouTube super chat and starting my TikTok feed as well. And we obviously always want to hear from you and want your calls. If you're a MAGA supporter and you think Donald Trump is doing a great job when it comes to the economy, boy, I would love to hear reasons why you feel that way. This last jobs report is abysmal. So we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back in 90 seconds. You are listening to Pushing the Limits. Your calls right next up here on KSHP. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. I have rescheduled Don Lemon to join us on the show next week. This jobs report that just came out, I want to get your thoughts on it, of course. Absolutely crazy report. By the way, congratulations to David Pacman. I talked to him yesterday. He just had a child, so fatherhood. We'll eventually get him back on the show pretty soon, but he's got a lot going right now with his newborn baby. So congratulations to him. Number to call is 702-221-7283. My understanding is that the lines are completely full. We're getting your thoughts on this jobs report that just came out, the worst since 2009. And let's start off with Chuck. Chuck is first up on PTL. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, Brian, did you happen to see South Park the other night?
You know, I don't watch South Park regularly, but what I do see are some of the highlights on Twitter, like the bits and pieces of it, and it is pretty funny.
Yeah, they getting down and dirty now, big time. Look here, I think we ought to talk up about a tax cut for the middle class to throw the rich people, throw it in their face. If they can get a tax cut, why in the hell can't we?
That's what Kamala Harris wanted to do. She campaigned on that. For household incomes of under $400,000 a year, there were going to be tax cuts, and then the rich was going to pay their fair share. That's what Democrats have been trying to do for decades, and Republicans keep giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%, yet people keep voting against their own self-interest. I just don't understand it, Chuck. I don't get it.
I don't either, Brian. It's crazy, man. It's total ludicrous.
This is what a horrible jobs report that comes out. But my question is, who are they going to fire now? It's clearly not the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Who are they going to fire now? You know, that's
Ron. Yeah. It's gonna get worse.
Of course,
each month is going to be worse. By the beginning of the year, we're going to be in a depression.
I agree. So as you know, if you've been listening to this show for a while, you would know I've been saying that every day. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I've been saying that every day. It's not going to get better unless Donald Trump is not the president. I mean, I'm sorry. I appreciate the call, Chuck. Thank you very much. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Oh, it'll be better in 6 months. It'll be better in a year. No, it won't. 702-221-7283. Vivian is next up on PTL. Hi, Vivian. How are you?
Hi, Brian. I just want to say that, like, all of these enablers are making everything worse. What the tech giants did today made me want to throw up. All that, thank you, Mr. President, thank you for this. And I'm like, are you like serious? Who got rid of the CHIPS Act? Who did it? I mean, who was going to try to tear 50%? And you up there kissing his butt?
You're right, Vivian.
This is disgusting.
You're right.
Disgusting.
You are right, Vivian. On a lighter note, I did give someone named Vivian some flowers yesterday, so I just thought I would share that with my listening audience.
You totally like that name.
Yeah, I do. So, you sound like a very nice lady as well, but I don't know where you live, so I'm sorry I can't send you flowers. But
New York.
Oh, you live in New York. Oh, that might be expensive. The shipping and handling there might be a little bit too much for my
Tell
pay
me
grade.
about it.
Yeah, that might be too much. Well, Vivian, listen, I hope you have a great weekend. Hang in there.
You too.
I wish I could tell you things are going to get better, but hang in there.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, hang in there,
Thank you,
Vivian.
Brian.
Hang in there. I appreciate your call. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Terry. Terry is next up. Hi, Terry. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. This is Terry. How are you today?
I'm good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I was just calling in to tell you I'm one of the ones that just got laid off 3 weeks ago. I'm in the casino business, and as you know, the tourism is terrible.
Are you in Vegas, Terry?
No, I'm in Laughlin.
So you lose your job, and the Donald Trump administration are blaming the Biden administration, and they say give it 6 months to a year. The bad news for you, Terry, besides losing your job, and by the way, I'm very sorry to hear that, is that the unemployment numbers are continuing to rise, so it might be difficult for you to find another job. I hope that's not the case. What do you say to the Trump administration that keeps making excuses and blaming everybody else?
I think he's just horrible, just a horrible man. And every day I mean, if I can't tell you what I call him every day. It wouldn't be fair to the listeners. But my problem is I'm unemployed, and it's going to be very difficult for me because I'm 74 years old.
Yeah.
I was on, I'm on Social Security, but I went to work so I can make a little extra income and have a purpose. And I absolutely loved going to work every day and seeing the people in the casinos and laughing and having a great time. No, I didn't have the best job in the casino. I was just like an EVS worker, but it mattered to me to have a reason to get up and go to work every day and laugh and have a good time. And then when I got laid off, I was devastated.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I can go back when things get better at work. I'm laid off. I wasn't fired.
Right.
And I'm just hoping for the best.
Well, I'm hoping for the best for you as well, Terry. You sound like a lovely lady at the age of 74, still working hard. I really appreciate that. But, people like you are the people that need unemployment benefits. Guess which party it is that wants to abolish unemployment benefits altogether or decrease it? The Republican Party. This is why it's put in place, so that people like you could have enough money to at least pay your bills until you find another job. And Terry, I hope you get the help you need, and I hope you find a job really soon. I'm rooting for you. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Chad. He's calling from Iowa, I believe. Hi, Chad.
Hey, Brian. How's it going today?
Good. What's on your mind?
Caller. Just a couple of things. Number one, the economy is not doing well. I don't know why they have to sit around the round table and keep praising this person. I don't even know if I can call him a man. But I just have another question, a couple of questions, really. Number one, not about the economy, but what about the Department of War instead of the Department of Defense? And then number two, how do you go home at night and not pull your hair out and just...
It's already out.
I can't talk to my parents. I can't talk to my friends. I've lost a lot of family and friends. I mean, what do you do to try to get past this when everybody's so polarized?
So it's a really good question that you ask, and then I will get to your first question, because I struggle with this at times as well. And what I try to tell other people, and I don't always take my own advice, do the things in life that make you happy if you can afford it. If it's just going to see a movie, grabbing a drink with a friend, going on a date, spending time with a loved one, spending time with your family, taking a walk. You have to do the things that make you happy. And I will be honest with you, and I'll be the first one to tell you, 7 or 8 years ago, when I started covering politics full time, it has taken a toll on my mental health. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I've never lied on or off the air, and it's certainly taken a toll. So what do? Well, this weekend, try to get away from the news, even though I never completely entirely get away from it. I'm going to go to a college football game tomorrow. Going to play in a golf tournament on Sunday. These are things that make me happy. And then Sunday night rolls around and I'm back to work, preparing for the show. So you have to have that.
Know how you do it?
Well,
Brian.
you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. And I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling with that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I struggle with it. I mean, when I was out there in San Diego on vacation last week, I spent some time with friends and, but I'm getting text messages from a lot of people. Hey, Brian, did you hear what he said here? I know a lot of prominent people in the news business. They text me, and of course I don't ignore their text. And, I'm a part of that. So it's very mentally draining at times. And
it is.
I am looking forward to a time where I could do a radio show and not have to talk about Donald Trump. I am looking forward to when I can do a radio show and just talk about the issues and why I agree or disagree with a certain party. That's the type of radio I did before Donald Trump got into office. But every single day in the news cycle, it's something new that he does or says. I mean, did you hear the latest? This is like unbelievable. They're now trying to pass a bill where trans people can't buy weapons. I mean, I'm not even making that up.
Yeah.
I heard. It's a disgrace is what it is. It's an embarrassment and it's a disgrace.
I can't even understand how people that are so for the Second Amendment to sit there and say, okay, well, because this subsection of people is this way, they can't.
Yeah. What if somebody said, well, white supremacists aren't allowed? You think the right would ever do that? No. Listen, here's why Donald Trump.
They would.
No. Yeah. They would go crazy. The NRA would go nuts. So here's why he's doing it, because he wants people like us talking about it. He wants chaos. He wants deflection from the Epstein files. He doesn't want us talking about his failings when it comes to the economy. So when they put out something like that, it's a deflection. And we can't let them win because, number one, it's not going to pass. So that's not going to happen. And number two, we have to keep our eye on the ball. This horrible jobs report that came out, the economy, which is in shambles right now, the fact that he won't release the Epstein files, and I think we know why. Thank you for the call, sir. All right. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next on PTL. What's up, Mark? Hey, Mark, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind today?
You talking about the economy?
Yeah.
I've made 2 trips last year to Europe, one to the UK and one on a cruise leaving from Spain and hitting some multiple ports in a few countries.
Yep.
And I have a kind of a crazy way to determine the dollar value. And last year, I purchased British pounds, and I was able to get a British pound for every $1.45. I had to spend $1.45 to get 1 pound. Wow. Now, if you try to buy a British pound, you get 85 cents back for every pound.
Yeah.
In Europe, with that uses the euro, I only had to pay $1.03 for every euro dollar. Now the euro is worth 74 cents American.
And why do you think that is?
So you lost. Why do I think that is? Well, a number of reasons. Number one, Trump has done nothing to promote the job rate. He's done everything in reverse. He's done everything backwards to kill the job market. The tariffs. Let's also talk about the A1. What do you call it? AI that the Republicans promote. And there are tons of jobs being replaced by AI instead of using people. And if you follow the news every single day like I do, you would see that FedEx, UPS, They are all, not just firing here or there a few. We're talking about tens of thousands of people at a clip. This is the first time in a long time that we have more unemployed than jobs available.
That's true.
And it's all because of this administration.
Mark, listen, I'm completely 100% on your side on this one. You're right. This is the fault of Donald Trump because he likes the word tariff. Let's not get into the weeds on this. This is a direct result of Donald Trump's policy. This isn't about his personality or anything. This is policy. And I agree with what Justin Wolfer said. You know, if we had Mitt Romney in charge here, we might not agree with everything he did, but he certainly wouldn't be doing this. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Carl is next. What's up, Carl?
Yes, hi, Brian. I hope you had as much fun yesterday as I did listening to the Senate go after Kennedy about his, and then just make him sound like the complete idiot that he is.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. You know, here's just an example of what Trump puts into offices as heads of divisions. A man who knows nothing about medicine, never studied it, was a drug addict in college. When he was in college, he was actually on drugs. He couldn't pass anything, and he's the head of the health department. He knows nothing about it. I mean, I went to med school, and even I don't think I might be qualified to
but
be
he's
the head of the whole.
he's also a terrible human being, Carl. He's also dangerous he's also dangerous to the country, Carl. He's also mentally challenged. He's a degenerate liar. Did I mention terrible human being? So, Carl, I agree with you. And while I enjoyed hearing some Democrats and some Republicans rip him apart, some of those Republicans like Cassidy still voted for him. It's way too little, too late. 702-221-7283. Let's go to X. X is next on PTL. Hello, X.
Yes, let me just tell you, I saw the job report. The job report is indeed terrible. But however, the Epstein files, 3 Democratic judges were blocking him from the full release. I could play the clip and you could see it.
Okay, but you don't understand the full process here. They're talking about less than 3%. And the reason why they're doing that, the reason why the judges have done that, is because they feel like it's a political ploy and they're only giving them stuff to release that they want to. Let me be very clear. I don't even think you're aware of this, X. If Donald Trump wanted to release all of the Epstein files today, he would be able to do that. And he would also be able to redact the names of all the victims. The reason why they're sending it to these judges is because the judges will not pass it through, because all the judges understand they're only picking certain parts of it that don't expose certain people. Some of the judges have said that publicly. Do you understand that, X?
That's not evidence.
X, did you listen to what I just said?
Yes.
Okay. What part of what I said does not make sense to you?
Not what you said, but I'm just saying what the judges are saying. Because if the 2 of them are Obama.
And what are the judges saying? What are the judges saying? Tell me.
It's like Bill Clinton. They said they blocked it 3 times. That's what I found.
And what are the judges saying? What are the judges saying? I know what the judges are saying. I'm asking if you know.
I didn't research that part.
Okay, so you don't know what the judges are saying, but you're claiming you do. That makes sense. So I will repeat myself once again. There are several judges that have already said that this is political, and they will not release it based on politics, because the Trump administration is picking and choosing less than 3% of the files to be released. That doesn't put them in harm's way. What the judges mean is release everything, don't release bits and pieces of it. If Donald Trump tomorrow wanted to release all the files, you could also redact the victims' names. He could do that without a judge's order. Are you aware of that?
It's blocked federally.
Are you aware that Donald Trump today could release all the files without a judge making a decision on it? Are you aware of that?
He can't.
X, I appreciate the phone call, but I can't go in circles with you, X. I can't keep going in circles with you because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what the judges have said.
I have the articles.
You have the what?
I have the video clips. I have the articles, and I have the video
What
clips.
What does that mean, you have the articles? The articles of what? The Constitution?
Like, no, out of 3 judges, like, two of them.
The
are
articles
Obama
of what?
One of them is Hillary Clinton. Like, Bill Clinton.
What does that have to do with anything of what I just said?
Trump from releasing it. They blocked Trump from releasing those files.
Where is your evidence that they blocked? Where is your evidence that they blocked Donald Trump from releasing files that Hillary Clinton is in there? Where is your evidence to prove that?
The leading Democrat on the House Oversight Committee.
I don't know what you're playing, X. I'm asking you yourself. You don't need to play me audio clips. Okay,
This is the Midas Touch network that got debunked by Jeff.
Okay. I don't care what you're. I'm asking you because you're the one who's making the claim.
That's
You're
what I'm
claiming
saying.
that
Here's
the
the question
reason
I'm
why. And what did I just say? What did I just say 5 minutes ago?
You're saying because they're choosing to release,
And are you okay with that?
they're not
Do you
releasing,
disagree with the
all of
judges?
it.
Do you disagree with the judges on that?
Trump never said that he's planning on releasing small things or that's what I'm saying. He never said that.
So Trump is telling the truth, and you believe everything Donald Trump says. Let me repeat myself.
Let me repeat
myself once. Let me repeat myself once again to make it as clear as possible for you. The reason why Donald Trump will not release all of the Epstein files is because it's damning to him and people around him. So what he is trying to do is he's trying to just put out very small pieces of it that will not hurt him, knowing that the judges will not judge on this one to do it. They knew that this was going to happen. They're trying to deflect. Right. And they're blocked him because they don't want it to be political where you just put out bits and pieces to hurt people's political.
Listen, I'm an open-minded guy. I totally think it's possible for him to be in there. But what I'm saying is, if you
don't have to be an open-minded. You don't have to be an open-minded guy. Hold on a second. Let me just tell you one thing. You don't have to be an open-minded guy to believe that. It means you have to have an IQ over 20. So stop it with the open mind nonsense.
Why didn't Joe Biden's administration release?
I've gone over this time. I've gone over this time and time again. Okay. Do you understand that they were sealed? Do you understand the legal ramifications that Joe Biden had when there were open investigations into the Maxwell case and they were sealed? It wouldn't have been legal for Joe Biden to do so. Number two, even if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't defend Joe Biden on it, just like I don't defend Donald Trump now. Why do you guys always want to talk about Joe Biden? Why can't you live in the present and talk about 2025? Joe Biden, I have facts. Joe Biden did not campaign on he's going to release the Epstein files. He didn't campaign on the fact. Hold on a second. Listen, Donald Trump campaigned on the fact that he was going to get all the liberal elites and everybody on the left and the Epstein files were going to be exposed, and all the stupid supporters believed him. He campaigned on this. Joe Biden never campaigned on it. Donald Trump did. So what do you have to say about that?
The judges blocking. Period. That's what I'm saying.
God, we're going back to the judges blocking. Oh my God. X, I appreciate the phone call. You have no idea what you're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the case with most Donald Trump supporters. Let's go to Bob. Bob is next up on PTL. What's up, Bob?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I saw a bumper sticker yesterday. I almost spilled my coffee. It said, "I miss Brandon."
That's actually pretty funny.
And then another one, clots and prayers. I saw that too. So what I don't understand is the victims release a list if they're going to, let them put it out there. And if it's wrong, I'm sure they'll get sued.
Listen, as I've said time and time again, I don't care if they have an R or a D next to their name. I want the files to be released. I've been very consistent on that. By the way, I said that 3 years ago. The reason why Donald Trump doesn't want you talking about it, he wants the story to go away because it's damning to him and it's damning to people around him. Very simple.
He's a disgusting human being. I just can't wait to open that bottle of champagne when that famous obit comes out.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll be right there with you, my friend. I'll be honest with you. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you, Bob. 702-221-7283. Tyrone is next up on PTL. Hey, Tyrone, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Brian? Look, don't get a chance to call you that much. I went back to work. And in this job market, I'm kind of glad, even though I was retired, that I do have a job. But look, that guy X, I can't even understand what the heck he's saying, much less. I don't know how you even deal with him. I mean, he's so uninformed. It's ridiculous.
But the judges blocked it. The judges blocked it. He doesn't even know why the judges blocked it. It's just so ridiculous.
Right. And then on top of that, it's not the grand jury testimony that should be released. It's the files that the DOJ has.
Correct.
That should be released.
Correct.
But these Trump supporters, I honestly believe if they came home and found him in the bed with their wife, they would be okay with it.
They probably would like it. They probably would be more than okay with it. They would probably like it.
They probably would make him a grilled cheese sandwich.
Probably.
Say, do you need some,
yeah.
do you need some food, sir? And look, here's the thing. The economy is easily cratering, and these people are trying to tell you what you see in the supermarket does not exist. Like olive oil now runs basic olive oil is running you almost $12 a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything with metal has gone up. Everything has gone up. But they're telling you, oh no, you're just imagining things. No, the prices are going down. It's unreal. It's unreal. The cognitive dissonance that they're trying to pull off on people.
You're right.
It's crazy.
But the crazy thing is millions of people in this country believe it. They believe it every day.
Right, and he's distracting people with this National Guard stuff, wanting to send them into cities. And what's sad about it is there are black people who are actually like, yeah, bring in the National Guard. I'm like, do you realize that it's not Jimmy from around the corner, it's Billy Bob from Louisiana. So how you think he's going to treat you if he show up in your town with armed to the teeth with an AR-15 and military fatigues on?
That's true. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Tyrone, with everything you just said. I'm on your side. And it is interesting, by the way, when you speak of the military and the deployment, that Donald Trump only seems to talk about cities that are run by black mayors. Now, some of you might think that's a coincidence. I tend not to. Thank you for the call, Tyrone. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mark calling out from Las Vegas. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Brian. Hey, I'm glad I got on quick. Just briefly, Hassett, their White House, one of the White House guys was saying how they're going to have to adjust the numbers for employment and all of that. So somebody had a meme below that I thought was hilarious, and it showed the number of actual jobs crossed out, and above it said a bazillion jobs were created this last month. So I had to laugh at that, because of course it talks about how the administration lies about everything they do.
They really do, and it's getting to a point now where it is comical that there's anybody out there that believes anything that Donald Trump or Caroline Leavitt or Lutnick or what anybody says within the Trump administration. They have zero credibility. Zero.
Yeah, absolutely. Caroline Leavitt, by the way, remember I told you her real name, Josephine Goebbels.
Yes, I remember. Maybe she's related to Stephen Miller. That could be very possible.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
it could be. All right. Well, I got to go.
Take care. Thank you. All right.
You have a good weekend.
You too. Bye. Thank you. 702-221-7283. Frank is next. Hey, Frank, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good.
Brian, I'm going to give you two things. Back in, I think, March, I heard the job numbers between 1989 and up to Trump was 50 million to 1 Democrat. That's true. You can look it up. Of what that period was for job growth. And the Democrats had the 50 million jobs at that time. Yeah. The second thing, Georgia, a Hyundai plant, ice hit for 450 people down there today.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. Frank. Yeah, I appreciate your call. Obviously, they're not going to be able to fire more people with this jobs report that just came out, or maybe they will. I don't know, but I don't think this is the problem with the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I think it might be the problem of Donald Trump and his policies that are killing jobs in this country. 702-221-7283. Rebecca's next. Hi, Rebecca. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I'm going to agree with a couple callers back. When X calls the people on our end, at least listening on YouTube, you can't understand a word he says. His service is bad, and he sounds like he has marbles in his mouth. On the job growth, I work in healthcare administration. I work from home, which allows me to listen to your show every day. But even I'm being told to go home or log off at 2:00 because there's not enough work. So,
Yeah.
and I've worked for this company for 13 years. I've never seen this.
The unemployment numbers are rising, inflation is rising, and unfortunately, job growth is declining rapidly. This is a very big problem. We are headed towards a recession. I hope we're not. I hope I'm wrong, but it certainly appears that we are headed towards a recession, and I'm wondering what excuses the Trump administration will make then.
And then once all these people lose their Medicaid, that's at least 40% of our patients.
Yeah, you're right.
Terrifying.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of these health agencies are in shambles right now, are they not?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ours is pretty good. We're the second largest one in California, but all over the country, hospitals are closing, clinics are closing,
it's Pete
and
Buttigieg.
most of them are in red states.
Yeah, it's Joe Biden's fault. It's Pete Buttigieg's fault. That's what it is. It's the fault of George Soros. It's George Soros's fault. Thank you for the call, my dear, and thank you for speaking truth. 702-221-7283. Why don't we go to John, who's calling out of Wisconsin, I believe. John, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just want to it's just ridiculous. You remember people that are doing policy, those guys also make over six-figure incomes.
That's true.
And our taxpayers are also feeding them, paying them, insuring them. My wife's a nurse in ecology, and she sees people dying every day.
That's horrible.
And they're scared that Trump is going to cut back on their cancer research, which they already have. And she's been a nurse. She takes care of patients every day. And she lost her medical insurance a couple days ago.
Isn't that interesting that someone who works as hard as your partner in saving lives every day is someone that loses their health insurance, while these idiots in Washington, D.C. and their families have the best health insurance that you could possibly get? They're not affected in Washington, D.C., but hardworking people like you and your wife, that's what drives me nuts.
Yeah, and that trans issue that I read today about the Second Amendment, you got to be kidding me.
So it's not going to pass, but just the fact that even they would say something like that is so crazy. Yeah. They want us talking about it, and what this gentleman is speaking of, as I mentioned earlier, is that they might be passing a bill to not allow trans people to have weapons, when, by the way, these mass shootings, less than 0.1% of all the mass shootings in this country. It's so ridiculous. It's so insane. But yet this is what they will continue to do. They're going to go after homosexuality. They're going to go after trans people. They're going to go after anybody and everybody that is not pro-Donald Trump and straight.
And 95% of the shooters that have killed kids are over 20 white males.
You're right. So what does that mean? Does that mean young white males shouldn't own weapons? I mean, give me a break. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Let's go to Marcia. Marcia is next up on PTL. Hey, Marcia, what's going on?
Hello, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, what's on my mind, Brian, is I want to tell you that I think it's horrible that you guys don't have universal health care. I think it's horrible that you guys don't have laws with the gun. You know, I'm over here in Canada. We don't have the gun situation going on over here like you guys do. The guns have to go. They have to go. Or the killings are going to keep happening. Mm-hmm. It's going to keep happening.
We are...
And you guys deserve to be taken care of by universal health care.
I agree.
You don't understand how much that makes a difference.
Well, here's the thing. I agree. We have a group of people that run the House and the Senate, the majority, that care more about drag queens being a threat to society than weapons of war. We have a group of people on the right who seem to be totally fine with over 15 million people losing their medical coverage and giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. How can you reason with these people? They're terrible people.
And they are terrible people. They're horrible people. You know, I'm going to tell you this. So I work at a casino. I've been at a casino for 25 years over here in Canada, Ontario. And I worked at a banquet hall. And guess who came up to the banquet hall?
Who's that?
Back when I worked there when I was about 21, 22. I'm 55 now.
Who's that?
It was George Bush Sr. that came up there. I'm going to tell you something. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Even though I back then, I didn't know all the politics. I had no education on anything. I didn't know anything. I just knew it was great to have all these big, high people coming in and walking past me. I'm going to tell you something. I have never been more embarrassed in my life than I am with this Donald Trump.
How do you think I feel?
These presidents, of all these presidents, all of them, whether it's Ronald Reagan, whether it's George Bush's son, whoever, has never acted this horrible.
Listen, George W. Bush, George Bush Jr., I thought he was a terrible president. And he got us into an ill-advised war. But at least George W. Bush was able to get along with Democrats. Like even, sitting down with the Obamas.
But everybody got along with everybody until Donald Trump came into the situation.
Yeah, he's
turned a nightmare.
He's a nightmare. It's turned a lot of people against.
Nightmare.
He's turned this country against each other. I think
He's
racial.
even tried to divide Canada and the United States. We have always been so close. We're like brothers and sisters.
You are correct. The world is on fire in a bad way. I think we're more racially divided now than we've been in 40 years. I blame Donald Trump for that as well. And you have Robert F. Kennedy.
He divides everybody.
He does. He loves chaos. Donald Trump.
He loves it.
He loves chaos.
It's just like I never would have thought in a million years that United States of America and Canada would start going against each other. Thanks to that thing. Thanks to him.
My dear,
even families are fighting. Families are fighting. I mean, I'm fighting with my father. I'm fighting with my girlfriend. I'm fighting with people. It's like he divides everybody.
Usually when
he
you're right.
And he lies and he lies.
Usually when I fight with my girlfriends, it's not over politics. It's usually over other things. But I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate you, and I hear your frustration. And you're right. He's divided a lot of families, too. We can't forget about that. Let's go to Antoine. Antoine is next up on PTL. Hi, Antoine, as I blow my nose.
Yeah, I was just calling about the jobs report coming out. Is that data coming from the job postings? How are we getting that information, sir?
Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Okay, but how are they getting that information?
How is the Bureau of Labor Statistics getting that information? There are a lot of different ways that they get that information. So are you claiming that they're wrong? Is that why you called in?
No, I'm asking.
I don't work.
Are they going off of job postings or what?
They go. Okay, so new job numbers are weighed in against population growth. The population growth far exceeded the 22,000 during that time period. They go by population growth. I mean, I think that's kind of common knowledge. I don't need to go into the weeds with you, but I'm wondering why you asked that question, though. I mean, I'm glad I was able to answer it for you.
So what's the age range on the population growth?
What's the age range on the population? Why don't you call the Bureau of Labor Statistics and ask them? By the way,
so you don't know.
Are you allowed?
So you don't know,
because
sir.
you don't know.
Is that what you're saying?
Okay, calm down. Okay, so first of all, how old do you need to be legally to work in this country?
Was it 16?
Hey, you just answered your own question. You think they're taking statistics from 12-year-olds, you dope? You think they're talking to 8-year-olds, you idiot? The fact that you don't know how old you would ask me that question shows how stupid you are and unhinged you are. If you want to continue this conversation, you could stop yelling. Why don't you are you still talking? You're trying to talk over me? You see, sir, we have something called a lever that can pod you down when you don't stop talking, because clearly you haven't taken it's not okay. You haven't taken your medication this morning. Now, I've answered your question. I've answered your question on the Bureau of Labor Statistics and how they got those numbers. I will also add they're the worst job growth numbers we've had since 2009. So let me ask you now, since I've answered two of your questions, I think I've been very patient with you. Do you put any responsibility on don't, sir, I'm asking you a question now. Do you put any responsibility on Donald Trump for these numbers? Any at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, then you're an idiot. What's the point of even having this conversation? You're a complete imbecile. You're a complete imbecile. You could keep talking all you want. So what do you, okay, so let's ask you another question, Mr. MAGA imbecile. You unhinged imbecile. Pot him down all the way. I hear him still screaming. Sir, take your medication this morning. Is he still screaming? He's not screaming. Okay, good. Now, so, sir, let me ask you another question. If you don't put the responsibility on Donald Trump and the tariffs for why the job growth is the worst it's been since 2009, then where do you put the responsibility on?
I put the responsibility on automated machines, technology, AI.
The native
idiot.
machines. Okay, so the reason why the job growth numbers are so poor is because of AI. Sir, do you realize how stupid you are? I mean, you're so dumb. Like, I can't even have a conversation with you. You sound so stupid. Like, what do you do for a living? Did you get your GED? You're unhinged. You are unhinged. You are unhinged. By the way, you have no idea how the radio business works. I think he just screamed out, I work 2 hours a day. He's so stupid. By the way, while I work, you call into the show and you watch me. So what does that say about you, you dope?
Absolutely nothing. Eat bugs, oh nothing.
What did he
You're
say?
Trash.
Trash. Thank you. So maybe you could take me out. I'm sorry, you're not my type.
You're
I'm sorry, you're not my
garbage.
type. If I was trash, you would want to take me out. But I'm sorry, I don't have a fetish for people that have a 10 IQ that support Donald Trump that can't have a conversation. If that was my fetish, sir, I would let you take me out. I know that's probably what you want to do.
Yeah.
I know that's probably what you want to do, sir. Listen, sir, I'm sorry a woman won't go anywhere near you. I'm sorry you have so much white anger. I'm sorry. You can keep screaming if you want, sir, but he's going to pod you down. I'm sorry you have so much white anger. I'm sorry you're so uneducated and you're so angry with your life. Let me be very clear on this. You are the trash of this conversation. You are the trash of America. You're the idiot that shows up at a Trump rally with a Confederate flag, don't you? You have a Confederate flag, don't you, sir?
Didn't work.
What did he just say? Dimwit?
Didn't work.
Producer Numchuck, do you have any idea what he's saying?
Didn't work. Fix those gaps.
I don't even know what you're saying. I really don't know what this guy's saying. He's so deranged. Thank you for the call, MAGA Trash. We appreciate you. Can I call you MAGA Trash? Have a nice day, MAGA Trash. Have a nice day, MAGA Trash. And no, I won't be taking you out, even though I'm sure you'd love to take me out. Have a nice day. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I think I'm going to post that call on YouTube and say MAGA Trash caller. I think that's what we're going to do. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Wow, that guy's unhinged, man. It's so funny how I answer his question. He's like, how do they get those numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics? And I give him the answer. And then he's like, well, how old are they? And I say, how old do you need to be to work? He says 16. He answers his own question. He's so stupid. Anyway, 702-221-7283. Wow, that was, he's a very special caller of this show. I hope somebody takes him out to drag queen reading later tonight. Let's go to David. David is next up on PTL. Hello, David.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I was interested in the tariffs, and following that last caller, he might want to check on what DOJ did to this Bureau of Labor Statistics, because DOJ cut the budget on the Small Business Administration, on all of these different agencies of the U.S. government, so we couldn't get data. And then he's wondering where the data is or why we can't get it, much less that now Donald Trump is out there trying to create fake data. But regarding the tariffs, I've got an old book. It's one of the Ben Franklin orations, and it's called On a Salaried Bureaucracy. And in it, he describes that tariffs are basically a corrupt idea, and that the port agents are really likely to take bribes to allow the goods to come into the country, and that basically Ben Franklin is really cynical in this little speech, and he's talking about how it's probably just as well that we don't pay the port agents, because not only are they going to be taking bribes on the side, but that it's going to be a basic failure to the local economy to have to be paying a corrupt person to be the port agent. And so when you start looking at the way that Trump did the tariffs, he's chasing away America's customers.
But here's the thing. They're bragging. The Trump administration is bragging about all the money they've made from these tariffs when they're getting it from the American consumer. You know what that would be like saying? I'm raising your taxes by 5%. Here's all the money we made. Let's be proud of it. I mean, they're so stupid. They brag about something that they're taking away from the American people. That's how stupid they are.
Well,
they brag about it.
You remember the value added tax that that Project 2025 wants us to have?
I do.
The tariff money basically is the value added tax, and it's not just 5%. It's like 40%. It's this huge. Every time he plays his bigotry in such a way that if you have a small country, Zimbabwe or someplace or another, that does very little trade back and forth, and then he tries to stick them with a 30% tariff, they're going to do less trade with us. And I heard a discussion earlier today saying that the average tariff, 20 years ago was about 2.5%. And so Trump, being a bigot, decides to stick it to any country that he doesn't like by sitting them with a 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or
and guess who he hasn't done that to? A guy by the name of Vladimir Putin, because he likes him. You're absolutely right, sir. I agree with you 150%. Thank you for the call, my friend. 702-221-7283. If you're a MAGA supporter, you're welcome to call in and go toe-to-toe with me. I know many of you are probably too afraid to do so, which I understand. Let's go to a guy by the name of Mortal Suspects, who's next up on PTL. Hello, Mortal Suspects.
Hey, what's going on, Brian? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind today?
Nothing much. I'm usually donating to your super chat under that name.
Thank you. That's right. I remember. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you.
Much appreciated. Just two quick things, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Why is it that the caller like you just had a few minutes ago, the MAGA guy that was just like high on whatever, why do they all sound like that?
It's a good question that you ask. I don't think all of them do. I think a lot of them do because they're mentally ill. I think a lot of them do. I think a lot of them do because they're ill-informed and they're uneducated. So when I actually answered his question with facts on how they get these statistics, which I gave him word for word how they do it, then he didn't know what else to do. So he started screaming and yelling, acting like a hyena because he didn't know what else to do. These people are very ignorant.
Intelligence.
They're very ignorant. They're uneducated. They're ill-informed, and they're off the rails. They're crazy people. So,
very unhinged.
Yes. Yes.
And the other thing too, and then I'll let you go. You saw the press conference with all the victims of Epstein yesterday, right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay. So I saw something and I read an article that they were actually looking at compiling a list, coming out with a list of people that they know who are on the list themselves. What's your take on that?
So here's my opinion on that. I think, and all due respect to the victims, my heart goes out to them, and what they're doing, I think, is very courageous. They should have just read off the names yesterday. I think they made a grave mistake by not doing that.
I agree.
I think we should stop. Listen. I would imagine many of the victims know that Trump is in there. I would imagine that many of these victims know that Trump's not going to do what they're asking him to do. So they should have just given their own list out. That would have been a ton of credibility. And just to read off the names. I don't care who they are, right or left. Give out those names. And if they want to sue these victims, you go ahead and you try that in discovery and we'll see, which they won't. So that's my personal opinion on that.
Couldn't agree with you more, Brian. Thanks for your time, man. You get a lot of love from Virginia, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Mortal. Thank you for your support as well. You call back anytime. YouTube Super Chat. Tim has said, I asked my doctor how to lose weight. He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, you mean pizzas and burgers? He said, no, don't eat anything fatty. That's actually quite funny. We need a little levity on a Friday if anybody has some jokes they'd like to share. 702-221. 7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Carol. Carol is next on PTL. Hi, Carol.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind, Carol?
Well, when you mentioned about jokes, we got a president that's one.
It's a very sad joke. That is true.
It's terrible. I have grandchildren. I have a new great-granddaughter that just was born the other day, and I'm just really upset with this man, if you want to call him that.
Yeah.
First of all, but the lady that called from Canada, my mom used to live in Canada. She's deceased. But he wanted to make them the 51st state.
He did.
Now, who in the hell would have thought of that?
That's true.
Except that idiot.
That's true.
It makes me very, very angry that he does what he does. And these little, whatever you want to call them, and on this side of the Republican Party, Congress, they're letting him do whatever. You know what I hope to happen? One of these days, I hope the hell he he's gone, and they go right with him. Almost like flushing a toilet.
I'm going to tell
Put
you,
him in there and then flush the rest of them down.
there's a lot of people within the Republican Party. You're going to look back in history and you're going to say, wow, I can't believe you supported that. There's a lot of people in this country I feel that way about that still support him. There's a lot of MAGA Republicans that are terrible. They're just terrible people. They have no backbone. They're terrible people. They have no moral compass.
Well, all I got to say is it's just sad. And another thing about all the weapons and all the stuff that's in this country, I heard there's more weapons in the United States than there are people.
There are.
And so all these other countries, why are they don't have the crime like we have. Nothing. They might have crime, but they don't have mass shootings. You know, all these mass shootings that happen, then all they go, well, thoughts and prayers.
But you know what they're focused on? You know what they're focused on, my dear? President Donald Trump is now called us, instead of the Department of Defense, the Department of War. So now Pete Hegseth is labeled the Secretary of War. And Donald Trump is sticking out his chest because he's so proud of that. Last time we had that was in the George Washington days. It's so ridiculous. It's so embarrassing. It's absurd. You think anybody really cares about that right now? No, they care about putting food on the table. They care about putting food on the table. They care about paying for their kids' education, keeping their job. But he wants to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Yeah, that's great. Aaron on the YouTube super chat says, how come no one seems worried about all Russia's military bases on its northern border, almost double the bases there with Canada and USA combined? Well, I think that's a really good point, Aaron. I think we should be worried about that, and I'm glad you brought that up. But, they're more worried about calling the Department of Defense the Department of War. They're more worried about that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's see, who are we going to next here? Why don't we go to Dave? Dave is next on PTL. Hello, Dave.
How you doing? Thanks for taking my call, Brian.
Sure.
Man, that guy needs a Midol, man. He needs a Midol. He's totally deranged, man. I tell you, I mean, the guy, he has some anger management problem. Anger management. That's what he needs.
That's a very good movie, by the way. Did you see that Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson movie? It's actually very good. We need to hire Jack Nicholson to work with that guy. That's what we need.
I don't think anybody in this world can actually. I think the problem with him is that he's probably getting no work. He's probably not getting any work from anybody because they're finally realizing that this guy is a Republican. So he's not getting hired by anything.
He's not even a Republican. He's just an
Nobody
idiot.
wants to hire him.
He's just an idiot.
I
don't even know if he's a Republican. He's probably a guy that doesn't even vote, who doesn't watch the news, who just goes on YouTube and just wants to, start trouble, and he thinks he's really smart.
Yeah, he's totally bored. He has nothing better to do with himself.
MAGA trash.
Other than himself. But the fact of the matter is, these Republicans, the way I'm going to say it, I want to say I'm so sorry for some of the people that did not. That I'm glad that, that they lost. I'm so sorry for the people that lost their job. It is so sad. It just really harkens me and it really kind of cringes me. And because this guy, I told you, and remember I told you that we are living in the Gilded Age. Remember about the 1870s where we're going towards that. Instead of going forwards, we're going backwards as a country.
Yeah.
Instead of 3 steps forward, instead of 2 steps forward, we're going 3 steps backwards. It's ridiculous. I think this is what I want to say to all the Republicans. You guys can go to hell and rot in hell, as far as I'm concerned. All of you Republicans can just go to hell. I hope you rot in hell, and that's the way I see it. And
I have some good news for you. I was praying to God earlier today, my friend, and God told me that that's where Rush Limbaugh is. That's where Ted Nugent will be. That's where Kid Rock will
Jerry
be.
Falwell.
Yeah, Jerry Falwell and his. So that's what I've heard. I've heard they are. That's where they are right now. But I heard Rush Limbaugh's taking some pills, and he has to listen. He has to listen to AOC make speeches 24/7. That's what they.
When I pray, I'm not a religious person, Brian, but I'm going to make it short and sweet for you. I'm not a religious person, but I'm going to tell you right now, we do pray, but I'm just saying, I just pray to God that, in the midterms that nobody, and I'm including the ones that made a mistake, don't make the mistake in the midterms to get this guy impeached and get him out of there,
Yeah.
or take control of the House and the Senate. So, because we need both the House and the Senate to impeach him, both of them to impeach him.
I agree.
So I
Very
just
well
pray-
said, sir.
That's all I got to say.
Very
Thank
well
you, man.
said. Thank you. By the way, I did miss a name. Hulk Hogan is sitting there as well. It's really hot up there. Andre the Giant is kicking his ass as we speak. 702-221-7. I love Andre the Giant. Not a MAGA supporter. Would never have been a MAGA supporter. Thoughtful man. Large man. Thoughtful man. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Rachel. Rachel's next on PTL. What's up, Rachel?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm a little nervous. I've never called into a show before. I'm from New York. I'm curious, why do you think Trump is trying to control our mayoral race so much? It looks like Mamdani is going to win, but he's really been pushing for Cuomo to get in there.
Because this guy leans far to the left. He's a very popular person. He's gained a lot of traction in Manhattan. And he is I guess, I don't want to compare him to Donald Trump because I don't think he resembles that. But in this aspect, I will say this. He's getting a lot of people riled up, and he's getting a lot of attention, and he has a lot of support. And I think he's, these types of people are a big threat to Donald Trump and MAGA.
Do you think he's the future of the Democratic Party?
I think he's a
people
little
like
bit,
Mamdani?
I think he's a little bit too far left for that, but I do think he's the future of how people should run their campaign. He's certainly outspoken. He's aggressive. He doesn't put up with nonsense. I don't always agree with him on everything, but I think the way he's run his campaign has been very, very smart. He's an activist. I thought the video that was the changing for him. Remember when he was yelling at Tom Homan? Do you remember that video that came out?
Yeah.
I thought that was the changing of the guard for him because that video went viral. And I think he's out there. He doesn't just walk the walk, but he talks the talk. Listen, I would much rather have that guy running this country than Donald Trump. I don't always agree with him. He has some maybe a little bit too far to the left for me, but I don't think he's a bad guy, and I don't think he's anti-Semitic like so many MAGA Republicans make him out to be. You know, so many of these MAGA idiots think that if you criticize the Israeli government, that makes you anti-Semitic. No, it doesn't. I criticize the Israeli government. I'm not anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm voting for him. I hope he can make some positive changes to our city, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, I don't want Cuomo back in there.
Yes.
I'm not a Cuomo fan, so we don't want him back
I'm
in
not
there.
either.
Yeah, thank you. We agree on that, my dear. Thank you for your call. See, you did a really good job. You can call back anytime. Or you could call Sean Hannity and call him a dad bod SOB. I'd prefer you did that, actually. That would be more funny. More entertaining. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Will. Will, and by the way, MAGA supporters, welcome to call in. Let's go to Will. Will, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good.
I always feel like I'm pressed for time, so I kind of
take your time.
I'd like to get probably the most broad thing that is getting more and more prevalent is obviously people that are informed like yourself and people that have somewhat of an education and not even education but common sense. The stupidity and the ignorance of the people in this administration. I mean, if anybody saw any bit of RFK in front of Congress, he literally got destroyed. He showed his ignorance, his lack of facts.
A liar.
I mean,
he proved he's a liar.
Yeah, exactly. And the point that I want to make is that this is the thing that is MAGA is that they read a couple of articles, they hear some, left wing, and they take everything, at face value. They do no research. The smartest person in the world is the person that knows that they don't know everything, and they go and they research and they use proven people. Like I follow Glenn Kushner, accomplished 30-year JAG.
No relation to Jared.
DOJ.
No relation to Jared. I just want to be honest with everybody.
No. But you hear, it's refreshing when you hear facts and you hear stuff from intelligent people that don't have an agenda. And my point is that I feel like the stupidity of every single person that is in this cabinet and obviously the mental decline and the stupidity of Trump himself is going to be the downfall of this administration. I really
Well
feel,
said. Yep.
and I really feel that that things take time to get around. Like you see a lot of, I feel a lot of independent news sources have gained traction in these last few months. When people start hurting, and there's a lot of people that are getting laid off. That's all you hear. The job market, the job numbers that came out. I mean, you're talking 2009, which was one of the worst times that we've had, next to COVID.
Guess what was the third worst? When Donald Trump was president first go around.
Yes, absolutely. But the point I'm trying to make is that the two things is a lot of these MAGA people, you're never going to reach them. Like that guy.
They're gone. They're gone. That guy, they're gone.
Yeah.
Listen, let's be honest. Let's be honest, my friend. They are so far gone, you cannot even have a conversation with them. Listen. If somebody starts the conversation by saying Donald Trump won the 2020 election, the conversation is over. If somebody says Donald Trump doesn't take his salary because he's not out for the money, the conversation is over. Sadly, a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump feel that way. Let's go to the YouTube super chat. Kat says, watching this show regularly since over a month. I love it. And I'm still amazed how brainless MAGA idiots are. It gives vibes like the movie Idiocracy would turn out to be real. Well, thank you, Kat. Yeah, it is amazing. It seems like my MAGA callers who seem to call in on a regular basis get dumber and dumber by the moment. I agree with you on that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Shelley says, what do you mean, Brian? Sean Hannity has a dad bod? Feel better over the weekend. Yeah, I'll be just fine. I have a busy weekend, by the way. I will be going to the UNLV football game tomorrow. I'm supposed to be playing in an NBA celebrity golf tournament on Sunday. I hope I feel better. I'm just like, it's one of those annoying sneezing, coughing, itchy throat type things, but I feel good enough to work. I don't have a fever or anything like that. Let me talk to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Maybe he'll give me some horse dewormers or something. I don't know. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Paulette. Paulette is next up on PTL. Hey, Paulette, what's going on?
Yes, hi, Brian. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go right ahead.
So anyways, I'm a transgender woman, and I also am a mental health therapist. And I was calling because I wanted to know if you are familiar with Dr. Bandy Lee.
I am not.
Okay. She's the woman, she's a psychiatrist, a forensic psychiatrist, and she wrote this book where they had several dozen psychiatrists and psychologists give a warning about Donald Trump. It came out originally like in 2017, and then they updated it recently, and there's like 50 of these professional mental health professionals all writing about, warning about the dangers of Donald Trump. You've not heard of this lady? She was on TV and
I have
all
not,
the news.
but if you don't mind, if I may ask you a question, since you are transgender, how do you feel about Donald Trump allegedly trying to enforce transgenders not allowed to have firearms, obviously against everything the Second Amendment stands for? But how does that make you feel when you hear that?
Well, everything that he does makes me feel extremely scared.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that one of these days he's going to write an executive order that says that transgender people cannot be employed or own a business to try and wipe
Can I ask you
out.
something else? Because I can't relate to this. Why do people care so much? Why do people care if some people are not like them? Why do they care if somebody is trans or not? Now, nobody is forcing them to date you. Like, they're not forcing you to be their friends. If you don't like them, that's your prerogative. But why do they care? How does it affect their lives? I tell all these people this. How do trans people affect your life in a negative way? I don't care. I'll call you he. I'll call you she. I'll be respectful. I don't care. Why do they care so much? I don't understand.
It's fear and paranoia. I really think that it's paranoia. You know, I've had people in my neighborhood that have called up my landlord where I work and tell her that I'm a pedophile trying to.
That has nothing to do with it. It has. By the way, the same people that would call you a pedo are the same people that support Donald Trump, who's in the Epstein files. So, you know, listen, anybody who says that is blatantly ignorant. You know, it's like the same people who talk about drag queens as if drag queen reading. And I say, where's your evidence that drag queens have ever harmed a child? And well, I don't have that right in front of me, but that's what they want to talk about. They want to talk about drag queens. They want to talk about transgenders. They want to ban books. They want to change us from the Department of Defense to the Department of War. But what they don't want to address is our economy, this horrible jobs report that just came out, people losing their health care, losing their government benefits and struggling and losing their jobs. They don't want to talk about any of these real issues. They want to talk about people like you because they're morons. That's why.
Yeah. It's sickening. It really is. You know, I had to go for a training on my job today. And during the training, they were showing where you can, you had to put down on there, what are your pronouns? And all I was thinking was, my gosh, if Trump's seen this, he'd have a fit.
Oh, they're going woke. They're going, yeah. Listen, I appreciate the call very much. I hope you don't have to deal with some of that stuff, but I really do appreciate you for calling in. I'm always going to be on your side on this. It just, the hate from the far right it's just inevitable. It's terrible. Let's go to Julie. By the way, MAGA callers are always welcome to call in at 702-221-7283. What's up, Julie?
After I heard you say RFK Jr. was talking about Tylenol causing autism.
Yeah, which isn't true.
That is completely false. Anything that happens with autism happens in the womb. No chemical, no shot, no vaccine causes it.
Right.
It's caused by genetics. I have a autistic cousin on both sides of my family. It infuriates me because it makes it harder on people like me to get things done because we get looked weird. And then there's this false information coming out. It infuriates me.
It infuriates me as well. But we have to understand that these culture wars and these MAGA Republicans want to divide us. We have to understand as a nation that Donald Trump is only in it for himself and he wants chaos. They thrive off of chaos. It's kind of like if you're in a relationship with somebody and all they are drama, and you say to yourself, man, these people, they enjoy drama. I've had relationships like that before. Some people are addicted to drama. Donald Trump is addicted to chaos. And unfortunately, he's in a relationship with the entire country. And so many of us want a divorce, but we're stuck with him for the next 3.5 years. By the way, Melania Trump, one of those people, by the way, that I'm talking about. I appreciate the call, my dear. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Thomas. Thomas is next up on PTL. Hey, Thomas, what's going on?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Thomas?
Hey, Brian. One important thing on my mind today, it's been bugging me a lot ever since the RFK stuff yesterday. Why does science matter to MAGA when it, comes down to transgenders, but science doesn't matter when it comes to vaccinations?
Well, because they're idiots. I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you. They're idiots.
It blows my mind.
The vaccines have saved millions of lives. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. But RFK Jr. has said publicly that more people lost their lives from the vaccines than from COVID. Now, obviously, that is completely false. But he was questioned on that. And yet, he wants to give Donald Trump all the credit in the world for Operation Warp Speed. I mean, it's comical. It's a joke.
As big of a threat as Trump is to our country, I truly believe RFK is an even bigger one.
Agree. 100%. I'm with you. RFK Jr. is a tinfoil hat fool. That's what he is. He's a liar, and he throws out medical misinformation on a regular basis, and he is an awful human being, and you're right. I think he's actually more dangerous than Donald Trump, and I think a lot of people would agree with you on that.
And another thing I'm finding comical today is, you know, when Trump first got into office, started signing all these executive orders, everyone was like, just give it 6 months, just give it 6 months. We've given it 7, and where are we at as a country right now?
That's true. That's true. Just give it 6 months. Now they're saying it again. Just give it 6 months. Just give it a year. Just give it 6 months. Just give it a year. Just give it 2 weeks. I'm sick of these people. Going to the YouTube super chat. Paulette says, thank you for taking my call. Hope someday you'll look into having Dr. Bandy Lee on your show. Her book and her podcast are amazing. Thank you. Well, Paulette, my email is always at the bottom there. So you could email me anytime with that information, and I'll gladly look into it. And I appreciate your support and your phone call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Terry out of Maryland is calling up next. What's up, Terry?
Hey, happy Friday, Brian.
Happy Friday.
A couple of things. I attended a funeral earlier today for a friend that I worked with who had an underlying lung condition, and apparently she got COVID, and it just exacerbated what was going on with her, and she died.
So sorry.
And yeah, a great friend. And I'm always concerned right now about the boosters that they have out there. I've made 3 attempts to go to my pharmacy to get one, and I'm not on your show in any way to push COVID boosters. I'm just speaking for myself. It seems like the more they delay it, I think the more people will spread it. And again, we're going to be right back where we were at the hospital emergency rooms, and they're being overrun. And it's, I was told by the pharmacist today that they're still making a decision on the booster.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. And we could blame Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for this. What Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his organization is saying is that some of these vaccines are not needed for certain age groups. Now, what happens if somebody in that age group wants to get a vaccine? It will most likely mean that their insurance won't cover it. That's what we mean when we say he's taking the vaccines away from people. It won't be covered under their insurance.
You're absolutely right. Because the woman today that I spoke with said, she said, you know, right now you're going to have to put that out of your own pocket because Medicare is not even covering that.
There's a lot of people that can't afford it. There's people that can't even afford food on the table. How are they going to afford vaccines? I'm so glad you brought that up, Terry.
Exactly.
I hope you have a great weekend, Terry, and I appreciate your phone call. By the way, Donald Trump in the Oval Office today, shielding his hand that's all bruised up. I find that to be hilarious, just like he shields the truth. 702-221-7283. Brandon is next up on PTL. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, first things first, I just want to say that I love your show. I think you're absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Secondly, I just wanted to say for all the people, especially MAGA supporters, that say that the economy is great and everything's all well and fine, I have family in Morocco, and I frequently send my family money, you know, with certain things that they need. And when Joe Biden was in office, on average, the exchange rate for each dollar that I sent was roughly about $9.98, you know, Moroccan dirham. It was even $10 and like 2 cents of Moroccan dirham. Under the Trump administration, the value has dropped more than $1. Now, for $1, I only get like $8.90 Moroccan dirham, when I used to get almost $10 under Joe Biden.
That's important. That's important to note. But you see, MAGA Republicans and the Trump administration will only blame Joe Biden for all of the problems that Americans are facing right now. So, you know, the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump got a really good economy. They have run it into the ground. Those are the facts. And I'm glad you brought that up, sir, because it's important to tell people where you were under Joe Biden and where you're at right now. It's very, very important. And I hope you get back to that point. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Kim. Kim is next. What's up, Kim?
Hey, Brian, give me just a few minutes. I know there's people behind me, but there's something so important I want to say.
Okay.
The other night on Lawrence O'Donnell, you had one of the guests that was a survivor of Epstein. And I was blown away by her saying that she's Republican. She voted for Trump. A lot of them voted for Trump. And they believed that he was going to help them and release the reports and blah, blah, blah. I mean, blown away by this. I was just, I was dumbfounded. I just could not believe this was coming out of this woman's mouth, that she said that Trump had nothing to do with Epstein. I mean, and she was one of those girls that spoke. And I believe, no, please, this is just my opinion. I believe the papers that I have, I got your email. I tried sending them when I said there a year or so ago that I had them, that I was going to send them to you. But damn it, I can't get them to go through. And if I can't this time get them to go through your email, I'm going to call back and have your what's his name answer the phone. All your guys that helps you. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have him. Just
we'll look
send
for
me
that.
something to
Yeah,
my
please,
email,
please,
but I'm going to send, and
please do that.
because they are very explicit, and she tells on the deposition about how Epstein and Trump were fighting over the 13-year-old.
Oh, I know that. I read that. I read exactly.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. And let me tell you this. I don't know how you could be a survivor and support a liable abuser like Donald Trump. I don't understand it, my dear. I just don't get it. I know you wouldn't. But yeah, I have seen that. It's so reprehensible. And yet these people vote for this guy. It's reprehensible. All right, let's get back to the calls. 702-221-7283. Ramona is next up on PTL. Hey, Ramona, what's going on?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I was calling regarding the therapist that called in earlier, the trans therapist.
Yes.
Okay. What she was trying to do was advertise for the book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. Well, I'm reading The More Dangerous Case of Donald Trump currently.
Okay.
And it's edited by Dr. Brandy Lee. And I'm also retired mental health professional. And if anyone wants insight into Donald Trump's psyche, I suggest you read this.
Ramona, what would you say to people out there that are struggling mental health wise because of Donald Trump, because of his administration? They're struggling, they're depressed, they can't keep him out of their mind. What mental health advice would you give to them?
I would advise them to contact their nearest mental health facility and see if most mental health facilities have a hotline that you can call.
Okay.
And discuss it with them.
Gotcha. That's probably some really good advice. Ramona, I appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you've done for a living. We appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. All right. MAGA callers are always welcome. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, 702-221-SAVE. MAGA callers are always welcome to call in and state their case, why they still support the liable abuser. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy is next up on PTL. Hi, Kathy.
Hey, Brian. First of all, I want to say that what you're wearing, the shirt that you're wearing, the color is wonderful against your.
Oh, thank you. My whiteness.
You know, you're ginger. I have a soft heart for ginger, so you look great today.
If only every woman said that to me, I'd have a chance.
They're not. You're not seeing the right kind of women. But
you're right about that. You know what? That might be the most truthful thing anybody has ever said in the history of PTL radio. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, just a little bit of a serious note. I want people to be very careful because Go Boots DeSantis, if you haven't heard already, has made Florida the state where vaccines will no longer be mandatory for children, which is going to definitely put us all at risk because everyone either has a relative or they visit Florida. So that's going to cause really a nightmare situation. Not only that, but thanks to or no thanks to RFK Jr.'s firing of people within the CDC, if you want to take that luxury cruise ship, you got to think about doing that as well because they fired people who were in charge of actually monitoring diseases and inspections on cruise ships as well. And as you know, with the cruise ships, a lot of them leave from Florida, and a lot of them are getting larger and larger in terms of capacity. So it's just a hotbed of outbreaks that could happen. So I would advise everyone for this season to be very careful. You might want to think about masking up again. I know that people have issues with that, but you might want to think about protecting yourself and your loved ones this season.
Yeah, I would also tell any woman out there she should definitely protect herself from Donald Trump. I'll add that in there as well.
This is true. We might have to bring back those chastity belts.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Thanks. Thank you for the call, my dear, and the compliments.
Take care.
I really do appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is another week in the books. We do have some breaking news here. Speaker Johnson, this is very bizarre. Speaker Johnson said that President Trump was an FBI informant in an effort to take down Epstein. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't believe anything that Speaker Johnson says. He might have said it. I don't believe if it's true or not. But that is really weird. I guess we could play the audio if you have. That's very, very strange. But we're monitoring that. That is really weird. Very strange. By the way, thank you to everybody that was in the YouTube Super Chat. We appreciate you very much. You can also go to my website, which is pushingthelimits.live, where you can get more information on the show. Of course, you could also make donations. We're an independently owned radio show. So that means we rely on good people like you. Those that are in the YouTube Super Chat, you could go to my website and make monthly donations. We also sell merch on there. pushingthelimits.live. Don Lemon will definitely be joining us on the show next week. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better. I'm sure I will. I'm just going to kind of try to take it easy today and relax and maybe stay away from the news for 24 hours. I don't know. Probably not. I'll probably turn on the news when I get home. But anyway, I love you guys in PTL Nation. We'll be back at it again on Monday, same time, same place. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you soon.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place to